Could Crowcoin be the next token to break past $1? Some people think it's a long shot, but history, timing, and recent partnerships suggest it might happen sooner than you think. And with Q4 of 2025 just around the corner, this could be the moment investors have been waiting for. Welcome back to AI Crypto Pulse, your daily source for crypto updates, AI-powered insights, and the latest market trends. Today, we're diving into a topic that could mark a major turning point for one of the most talked about tokens in the market, Crowcoin from Crypto.com. If you've been following along, you know I've been keeping a close eye on this project and its rapid growth. And recently, I came across a post on X that perfectly connects with many of the discussions we've had here, giving even more weight to the idea that Crowcoin might be heading for something big. The big question everyone has is simple. Can Crowcoin realistically reach $1? And if so, when? Personally, I don't just think it's possible. I think it's very likely by the time we move through the last quarter of 2025. Believe it or not, we're just days away from Q4, and historically this has always been a season where the crypto market sees some of its most powerful moves. The timing, the momentum, and the positioning all seem to be lining up in favor of a potential breakout. Now let's talk about where Crowcoin stands right now. At the moment, the price has been slipping, which has made some investors nervous. But here's the thing about crypto. You often need to step back and look at the bigger picture. A dip doesn't necessarily mean weakness. Sometimes it's just the market shaking out before the next big leg up. So the question isn't just whether Crow can fall further, but whether it can find a strong bottom, rebound, and climb toward that long-awaited $1 target. From what I've been seeing, there are real reasons to be optimistic. Let's break it down. In recent weeks, Crowcoin ran into resistance around the 37-cent mark. If you've been trading long enough, you know resistance levels often act as psychological barriers. Traders set targets, sell positions, and naturally prices pull back. Interestingly, that 37-cent zone was also a support level back in the early stages of the last bear market. We bounced there several times before the market eventually broke down. So it's no surprise the market reacted there again. Add to that the recent hype around partnerships, like the connection with the president's media company, and you can see why there was initial excitement. But enthusiasm only carries a token so far. Combine that with upcoming Fed decisions on interest rates, and you have all the ingredients for volatility. Whenever we see strong rallies before major economic events, it's common to get a bit of a sell-off right before or right after the announcement. That's exactly what we've seen here. The real levels to watch for Crow are around 20 cents and possibly as low as 16 cents. Those could represent the bottom zones where long-term buyers step in. If we hit those levels and stabilize, it could set the stage for an explosive rebound. Now, back to that post I mentioned earlier. It came from someone I'd never seen before on X, a user named Albert. Now, I don't know this person personally, but what caught my attention was the effort he put into compiling a list of Crypto.com's institutional partnerships. And let me tell you, the list was massive. Albert's point was straightforward but powerful. Crypto.com is becoming an institutional custody powerhouse. And honestly, I couldn't agree more. Think about what that means. More and more projects are turning to Crypto.com to safeguard their assets. And why wouldn't they? Security and trust are two of the most critical elements in this space. One breach, one major failure, and credibility can collapse overnight. But Crypto.com has been building a reputation that institutions actually rely on. The partnerships listed included big names like VeChain, Frax, Axelar, Plasma, BTCS, Truth Social, Yorkville America, AON, Figment, Theta, and many others. The sheer number of collaborations, many of which have taken place in just the last year, shows that Crypto.com isn't just surviving, it's thriving. When you see a company in this space that can land partnership after partnership, it tells you something about the financial strength of their business. Exchanges that are struggling don't spend on marketing, they don't close new deals, and they certainly don't expand their custody services. But Crypto.com has been doing all of these things. In fact, if you check exchange rankings, Crypto.com currently sits as the 11th largest crypto exchange globally, according to CoinMarketCap. But here's the kicker. Many argue it's actually bigger than that when you factor in activity that doesn't always get captured by public metrics. One thing that's undeniable is this. Crypto.com is the largest exchange in North America, and that title isn't just for show. It comes with massive influence, credibility, and a growing user base that keeps strengthening the brand. On top of that, the recent news of Crypto.com partnering with Truth Social for an ETF tied to the Cronos token adds another layer of bullishness. When you have major media companies and even political figures connected to your ecosystem, you know the spotlight is only going to get brighter. Now, let's circle back to Crowcoin itself. Yes, the token has been dipping, but dips, especially during bull markets, are often golden opportunities. Based on my outlook, if Crowcoin revisits the 20s or 16 cents levels, those could be incredible entry points for investors who believe in the long-term vision. Think about it. Buying low when fear is in the air is how big gains are made in crypto. We've seen Bitcoin perform strongly over the past couple of weeks, but as this new week started, it slipped a little. And that makes sense, given the upcoming FOMC meeting. Historically, these meetings act as catalysts. Sometimes the market pumps on the rumors and then sells off on the actual news. But once that short-term volatility clears, it often paves the way for real momentum. And if history repeats itself, Q4 could very well turn into the official altcoin season, a period where tokens like Crowcoin get their chance to shine. If you look at past cycles, Q4 has always been a critical moment for altcoins. It's typically where we see the final euphoric rallies before markets eventually cool off and move toward the next bear phase. Right now, all the cycle indicators point toward this being the peak year in the 4-year cycle pattern. That means we are standing right in front of what could be the most bullish moment of this entire market. Altcoin season hasn't truly arrived yet. Yes, we've seen gains here and there, but the broad altcoin rally, where almost every project starts moving higher, hasn't happened. That's why I believe when it finally does, Crowcoin is perfectly positioned to be one of the leaders. With its strong brand, partnerships, and exchange dominance, it has every reason to benefit disproportionately when that liquidity starts flooding into the altcoin market. So where could Crowcoin realistically go? Let's be conservative first. In my opinion, hitting $1 in this bull cycle is absolutely achievable. Beyond that, I think $1.50 to $2 is within reach if the momentum really takes off. Could we see $3 or even $5? That would require extreme optimism and perfect timing, but I wouldn't completely rule it out. Personally, I think $2 is a reasonable top-end target for 2025, while anything beyond that would be a bonus. What's important here isn't whether Crowcoin hits exactly $2 or $3, but the fact that it's in a position to grow massively compared to where it is today. That growth potential is why so many investors are watching it closely. To sum it all up, Crypto.com continues to expand its brand, secure partnerships, and establish itself as a reliable institutional custody provider. Crowcoin, its native token, may be dipping now, but that dip could be exactly what sets up the next explosive rally. With Q4 of 2025 just around the corner, history suggests we're about to enter the most bullish phase of this market cycle. That's why I believe Crowcoin is not only capable of reaching $1, it's actually set up to go well beyond that. Whether it stops at $1.50, $2, or potentially even higher, the key takeaway is that Crowcoin is one of the tokens you don't want to ignore during this critical phase of the market. I'll continue keeping a close watch on these developments and share every important update with you right here. For now, I really want to know your thoughts. Do you believe Crowcoin has the potential to hit $1 in 2025? Or could it go even further? Share your predictions in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective. Remember, this content is purely for educational and informational purposes. It's not financial advice. Always make sure to do your own research before making any investment decisions. And if you found value in this update, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss the latest crypto news and insights.